right, we are moving on to our third debate, and this one is around the theme of retention. Now, when an employee leaves the company unexpectedly, the manager and often HR experience a little bit of panic. Who is going to pick up the leaver's work? Where are we going to find a strong replacement? And how are we going to ensure our business as usual? The company's recruiter or talent acquisition team then goes into action mode, trying to fill the vacancy as quickly as possible. With the best possible intentions, they come up with a list of requirements for potential candidates, desired competencies, behaviors, perhaps previous experience, and so on. Something that weirdly enough is often overlooked is the retention element. And I say weirdly because when you think about it, it's kind of strange that we don't hire for retention, or at least not to the extent that we should. And there are plenty of reasons for this. In many organizations, recruiters don't know why people stay with the company because they don't have access to data from employee surveys and stay and exit interviews. Nor do they know who gets promoted and why, or are they aware of future opportunities that may exist. Other elements that play a role here are the metrics that we use in recruitment. They are currently often focused on efficiency and evolve around things like time, cost, and the number of applicants. Instead, we should focus on experience metrics more and measure things like new hire turnover, employee lifetime value, and candidate job satisfaction. A company's recruitment process sets the tone for its future. So, if we want our recruiters to recruit for retention, we'll need to drastically change the way we hire. And all of this brings me to our final statement. Recruiters hire to fill vacancies, while they should be hiring for retention. Ooh, this is, I think, an interesting statement to present to two people who work in this. All right, so recruiters, they hire to fill vacancies while they should be hiring for retention. Bram, I'm going to start with you again this time. Do you vote yes or no?
This is a big one. I think you shouldn't hire to fill vacancies, but you should hire for the performance or the development or the strategy of the company, and not just for retention.
Okay, so you do not agree with this statement, but can we say that?
Yeah. In some way, yeah.
Okay, Francois, what do you vote?
I vote a strong yes, but a strong yes, but. I think recruiters should hire to fill vacancies, and they should hire for retention at the same time.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so Bram, I'm going to go back. Please elaborate on why you're voting this.
I think it's a really big question. I think in general, it comes down to the fact that where are you going to put recruitment in your strategic company focus for the next years? And what we see now is that recruitment is mostly last in line or somewhere last in line. So when a company looks at the company growth, they say like, well, for the next 5 years, we want to grow with 20% revenue. We're going to take a look at what that does for our headcount and what we need for a headcount. We're going to do some acquisitions. We have some retention. So what does that mean for our hires? But recruitment is last to hear that. And I think that recruitment needs to be in the front line of that. So when the board or the managers start to form up with a strategic plan, they need to join recruitment with them so they can take a look at what's possible. And even in this market where labor is very costly and hiring is very costly, I think that sometimes, and you see that now, but that's always in the back end, that companies can't achieve their growth because they can't fulfill those vacancies. So I think when you do that in front of it, you can adapt your strategy as a company, maybe even change your growth on the upside or a downside to take a look at, is that achievable? So my main thing is that make recruitment part of your strategic business process. And in that way, yeah, you need to hire for retention and not just for vacancies, but it's also bigger than just the retention. It's also the company development, the growth of the company, the acquisitions you're going to do, yeah, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay, thank you very much. Francois, let's go back to you.
I strongly agree with what Bram just said about anticipating the recruitment needs and making sure that we work upstream. I think talent acquisition should be like the last resort solution when you can't do anything else. You can't promote anyone, you can't transform an intern into a permanent contract, you can't change your organization, you can't go with internal mobility, you can't adapt the way you work. Then, all right, we go to the talent acquisition team and we start recruiting for you. But Bram highlighted something that is super important and that is not very often discussed, is that recruitment is super costly. Recruitment is super costly. You have to pay for the recruiters, you have to pay for the time of the business managers that will be working with the recruiters, you have to pay for the software licenses. LinkedIn is super expensive, applicant tracking systems are super expensive. It's one more employee in your headcount to hire more employees in your headcount, and the more you hire, the more your headcount grow. So the more your cost base is growing on a very non-defined timeline because people are with you forever, basically. So yeah, recruitment is super costly and recruitment should be the last resort solution. At the same time, when your company is large enough, you need a recruitment team to fill those vacancies. And I strongly agree with the part of the statement that says that recruiters hire to fill vacancies. I've had recruiters who in my team previously who did not fill vacancies. And can I call them recruiters if they are not filling vacancies? They are providing advices to the business. They are explaining what the market looks like to the hiring manager. That's great. That's part of the job. All right. But you need to fill vacancies at some point. So I strongly agree with the first part of the statement. And if we define recruitment in a very simplistic way, maybe too simplistic, it's about filling vacancies. It's too simplistic. It's way more complex than that on the field. But the basics are there's an empty chair somewhere in the organization and someone needs to sit on that chair, someone who is skilled, someone who fits with the team, someone who can do the job. So it's about filling vacancies at first. But at the same time, if you hire just someone to fill a vacancy and you don't think about retaining this person in the long run and how this person will evolve in the context of the company, which is evolving at the same time of the person, then how do you make sure that this vacancy won't come back in your staffing plan next year? You need to make sure that the person you hire is answering the need of the company tomorrow, not the need of the company yesterday or today or only today. So it's like a long-term game. I often say to very impatient managers that recruitment is a game that you play late because the time you know that you need someone to fill a vacancy, you are already screwed in some way because the person will leave in 2 weeks and then you will try to hire someone who has a notice period and there's the recruitment time in the middle that you can't really compress. It's like project management. You can't have 9 women make a baby in 1 month. It doesn't work like that. Recruitment is all about mapping the market, contacting people, having phone screens, running interviews, having assessments, extending a proposition, negotiating, and then having to deal with the notice period and providing advices along the way. So this time cannot be compressed in like 3 days. I can't find you an accountant in 3 days. I need a few weeks to create the pipeline and provide choice to you as a hiring manager. So yeah, we need to fill vacancies, but at the same time, we need to fill vacancies with the right kind of profiles that won't leave the company in 3, 6, or 12 months because we need to hire for retention. And one of the key here for retention is how talent acquisition partner with the HR business partners. So most companies, large companies, have HR business partners. I see you agree, Bram, and Lily too. And they are often the people that are knowledgeable about what's the context of the team. Why is this person leaving the company? Why were we not able to retain the previous employee on this position? They can have those elements in mind and they can share it with the recruitment team in order for us recruiters not only to fill a vacancy, but to hire for retention. Yeah. So partnership with the hiring manager is super important. And we often speak about the recruiter hiring manager partnership, but partnership with HR people is also super important.
So important.
So important to make sure that the recruitment experience overall is a success.
I totally agree with you on that, Francois. I think it's so important to have a good relationship with the HR business partner because they have such good insights in what's going to be the planning, what's going to be the succession planning. They know the internal developments of the team, and you need that information as a recruiter to make the right choice. So yeah, definitely agree on that.
This summer, I'm changing the organization of my talent acquisition team to match with the HR partner organization, because I want to create strong bridges between talent acquisition and HR.
Yeah.
Nowadays, we have two different organizations. We are not mapping the company the same way. So each recruiter has like 10 contacts in terms of HR partner, and each HR partner can partner with 10 recruiters. So it doesn't really work in a very fluid and smooth way. So we are adapting our talent acquisition organization to better match the HR partner organization and to create strong bridges between the two teams to reinforce this partnership in order not only to fill vacancies, but to hire for retention.
Yeah, we try to do that as well at our current assignment. I have 1 or 2 HR business partners, and each recruiter in the team has 1 or 2 HR business partners, just to keep the line short, have the good communication, and that's so important again.
Yeah.
Nice. I feel like
you
I'm just
as well, Nelly.
I'm just nodding in agreement. But yes, very, very, very nice. Thank you so much for that final debate. So to speak. Now, as we are in the 3rd season of HR Debatable, we do have a new feature, and that is called the HR Dilemma. So how this works is that I'm going to present you with a hypothetical dilemma, of course, and then you can share how you would respond to that dilemma if that were to happen to you, or maybe it already has, who knows. All right, here goes for the HR Dilemma of this episode. Let's say you work for a mid-sized company and you are in the final stages of hiring an intern. We talked about that today, about interns, I mean. And then the company's CEO comes to see you and tells you that his cousin wants to do an internship at the company, and then asks you to hire his cousin. That is the dilemma of the day. What would you do in this situation? All right, let me start with, I don't know, Francois.
It's a very funny example, because this is one of the question that we asked during an interview. It was not the CEO's cousin wanting an internship. It was the CEO's partner having an issue with their mobile phone. And so the CEO wants a mobile phone from the company to give to his partner during the holidays. How should you react as a tech support technician in the company managing the IT fleet? So that's very funny, because it's the same kind of example. So all right, mid-sized company, final stage of hiring an intern, and then the CEO asks you to hire his cousin on the internship. All right, so I think two situations, two options I foresee. The first one is the recruitment process is not over till the final applicant, the one that we selected, accepted the offer. So we still have the opportunity to interview the CEO's cousin. This is something that we can manage. We can schedule a call today to collect a few information, have a video interview tomorrow, and give feedback to the CEO and to the very unexpected applicant. That's the first thing. The second thing is the CEO owns the headcount of the company. At some point, he's the person saying, all right, we open this position, we do not open this position. If the CEO really wants to open an internship for their cousin, I think they can manage to have one more budget line for an intern for their cousin, and we just need to find a manager for this person. So two scenarios. The first one, we only have one internship open, and we try to interview the CEO's cousin and to give a fair assessment. Second situation, we open a dedicated internship and we try to find a workaround to have this person in our headcount in the future.
Thank you, Francois. Also nice that you find some similarities with the question that you were asking, of that had been asked actually with the phone and the partner. So that's quite interesting as well. Bram, yes, please. What would you say to this HR dilemma?
A really simple answer. I'm going to tell him to F off.
Oh. All right, that's the third option, I guess.
Yeah, but I think in general, when you look at the practical part, I'm not going to start like interviewing new hires of new applicants when I have a candidate in the last phase of the process. So yeah, he needs to fuck off. Oh, sorry, I don't know if that's that's going to be recorded. But yeah, we have a vacancy. We have to find someone who could be a good fit with the vacancy. So yeah, we are going through with that. So yeah, and if he doesn't agree with that, yeah, he can talk to the hiring manager of the internship. I don't know, or he can give me a bad review, or he can fire me. But that's my job, to hire the right candidate for the right position, and he hires me to do that. So yeah.
All right, thank you also, Bram, and thank you both.
What would
of
you do, Nelly? Maybe that's a good question.
What I would do, yeah. What would I do if that were to happen? I mean, I don't know what I would do, but I have to give an answer because both of you also gave an answer. So if I were in the final stages, I have indeed a good candidate, and then the CEO comes and tells me basically hire my cousin. I guess it depends how much I would like to keep my own job indeed. I guess I would say, well, I'm sorry, we're already in the final stages and we have a candidate. And then I guess I would say, if you have a problem with that, then obviously, yeah, he's the CEO of the company, so he can basically do whatever he wants. But I guess I would stick with my, this is the candidate I found. That's what I'm saying. But I mean, I really hope I will never be in this position because I'm not sure if then I would have the courage to say that, to be honest. So it's a little bit, I guess, between the both of you, because on the one hand, yes, I agree, Bram, you're in the final stages and the whole process has been gone through. At the same time, I also agree with Francois, meaning that the CEO at the end of the day can do whatever he wants, right? Let's be honest about that as well. So
yeah.
if he really wants the cousin to be an intern in the company, then he will make that happen.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It
I think in general
a few years ago in the company we worked in, Nili, we worked together a few years ago. The CEO of the company sent me his son's CV at first for a CV review. The CV review turned out to be a conversation with the CEO's son about what works on his CV, what does not work on his CV. So it was not an email, it was like a face-to-face conversation. And then there was some kind of discussion with the CEO about, is there room for this person in our organization? Is there any jobs that could fit this specific individual, which turns out to be his son? And the answer was no, the field of studies and the experiences are far too different from what we do here. And he understood that because he had a very deep understanding of his company. But there was like this kind of conversation, how can we manage to make it work? And you have to navigate this kind of environment a lot when you work with execs, because you have CVs coming left and right and people with lots of influence pressuring you into pushing their relatives to internship, apprenticeship, temp jobs, perm jobs, etc. So yeah, that's the kind of situation you can experience in a lot of talent acquisition roles and even in HR related jobs, I think.
Yeah, 100%. Actually, another situation in that company was what made me think of this dilemma, Francois. So it came actually from reality. But all right. Thank you so much for joining and for being such great debate participants.
Thank you, Nili, for inviting us. Thank you, Bram.
Thank you, Francois. It was a pleasure.
And thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Of course, one last time, if you enjoyed the episode, please share it with your colleagues. If you think they can benefit from listening to these debates or the dilemma, who knows? Please share the episode. Subscribe to the podcast if you haven't already on Spotify or on Apple, or leave us a review as well. If you really enjoyed this episode, do leave us a review, 5 stars. That would be great. Thank you very much, and see you next time. Bye.